I'm just curious, I asked Patricia this before. What was your reaction to seeing the entire film for the first time?
You know, it sounds funny to say, but I've been friends with Richard Linklater for about 20 years, and I've made a bunch of movies with him. And my first reaction was kind of like if you watch your friend land on the moon or something. What he pulled off was so incredible. You know, it's one thing to have an idea about telling the story of a family over a period of 12 years or something. It's another thing to do it and to bring that ship into port. I was just so impressed. I just thought the filmmaking is really masterful, and I couldn't believe I was a part of it. And I felt really sad it was over.
Yeah.
You know? If it didn't end so well, I wanted to keep going. But
Right.
the ending is just perfect.
Right.
He has an uncanny ability to end movies extremely well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys are collaborators as well as friends, and you're his actor. Did you bring ideas to the table in terms of where you thought your guy, would be at that specific time in his life?
Yeah, we all did. I mean, well, Patricia and I, the kids were a little bit more free form, what was going to happen. I mean, there was a lot of room in there for kind of jazz to happen, but with Patricia and I, there was a real clear outline of what our story's arcs were going to be, because they're so informed. She was going to get remarried, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. And for me, it was a story about a guy who learned how to show up as a father.
How would Richard do it? I mean, would he just call you up one day and be like, okay, we're ready to do some Boyhood, in a couple weeks, or?
No, we'd always start, okay, no sooner had we, as we were finishing what we were doing, we would start to daydream on what the next sequence would be. And, there'd be things like, we always knew from the second I pull up in that GTO that somewhere in the storyline that GTO was going to get sold, And so we were like, well, is this the year? Nah, not yet. I think this... And one of us would have an amazing experience, and we'd think, well, is this the right year for that? And sometimes, one of my kids would say something funny, and I'd tell Rick about it. I would say, oh, yeah, we've got to use that. Or, I was trying to make my character, bring some authenticity to the idea of him as a musician. And so I wrote some music for the movie and try to make that real for me. And so in the movie is a song for my kids and a song for my wife. And
finally, what is it like seeing Ellar now and then thinking back 12 years ago, what it was like? I mean, you actually watched him grow up.
Yeah, I mean, most of us know that feeling. You got a brother with a kid, or, some kid that means a lot to you. He's not my son, but he's a beautiful young man, and it's just been sure fun to watch him grow up. And also, I think if he hadn't been such a remarkable person, the movie would have been cool, but it would have been a gimmick. And because of what he brought to it, it makes it a movie.